long since my father's death. The 6 months since the funeral were proof we had never been close, but I didn't think it would come to this. "Be gone before I return" played as a refrain in my thoughts, and I grew afraid of what he'd do if he found me there. My hurry was so great that I had no lunch, and at the transfer station in Duluth, where I had waited until 1 in the morning, the vending machines only contained cookies and chips. Looking over the menu and taking in the dining room, the aproned waitresses, the symphony of jangling silverware and glasses, I was glad to see that my mother had a good place to eat while she lived here. I often wondered about her after she left, hoped she was looked after, well taken care of. Like my uncle, and my father before he died, I hadn't ever had anything nice to say about my mother. But when I turned 17, the age she was when she had me, I could no longer say what I'd have done in her place. She had been trapped from the inside into a life she didn't want. Until then, I had blamed myself. But it became clear on my birthday that she hadn't run from me, but rather the situation. And I planned to tell her before I went on with my life that I understood her decision and had forgiven her. My uncle had done me a favor by kicking me out this early in the summer, because I wouldn't have had the time to stay and look for her if I had found her missing in August. I'd have had to get right back on the bus to school. The next time the bell on the door sounded, it was the super in paint-splashed blue jeans and a gingham vest. He turned to the waitress with a finger in the air and answered her question of the usual with a nod and a smile. Then I blotted my eyes with a napkin and ordered what I thought my mother might have gotten: bacon, chocolate chip pancakes, and coffee. The super took a seat across from me and said a soft thank you when the waitress brought our drinks. "Karen," he said, "do you remember this boy's mother? She used to live upstairs." Her face betrayed her when he went on to say my mother's name. Karen had known her, and though she said nice things, I could tell she wasn't a fan. I wasn't offended. My mother did what she pleased. I knew that better than anyone. "You don't happen to know where she went?" I asked, but only got a "sorry, darlin'" in return. We sat there in silence for a moment, preparing our drinks, my spoon tinkling softly on the ceramic as I stirred in my sugar, while the super squeezed the last drops of his tea bag before setting it aside. "I checked my records and saw that your mother left just over a year ago," he said. "Her place is still open if you want to take a look or whatever. Shit, you could even stay a week. No charge." He dug down into his pocket, then threw a keyring on the table. The Arlington Hotel, it said on the plastic fob, the thin crossbar of the lowercase e scratched away so it looked like a C. I picked it up, this object my mother had held, and my hand trembled. "No one's going to need that room, and even if they did, I got 6 other rooms open now anyways. Maybe you could poke around town and see if you can find out where she got off to. Who knows? You may know where she went before the week is up. Let's hope." "That's very generous," I said, happy for the first time since I had left Grand Marais. And my face must have lit up because the super's eyes widened at my reaction. "I'd love that." The super gave me a price for the remainder of the month, nearly all the money I had, and said we could talk about it on Thursday. He stuck his hand out across the table and I shook it. Then Karen brought our breakfast. I ate like the howling wolf that my stomach had become, while the super forked cut fruit into his mouth. His meal was small, and he finished quickly, throwing a 10 on the table as he stood to leave. "Boy, I wish I could still eat like you do," he said. "Chocolate and bacon in the morning. What, you gonna have the peanut butter burger for lunch?" "That sounds delicious," I said, pushing my bacon toward him. "One won't hurt." "There'll come a time in your life when you too will need to make decisions that go against your desires. It hasn't come for you yet, so you better enjoy it while it lasts. I'll see you on Thursday." I didn't watch him leave, too concerned with the final smears of chocolate on my plate. And when the bell that sounded his exit evened off into silence, I signaled Karen.